is the Board of Health April 7th, Tuesday meeting. Call to order.
404.
404. And can I take a roll call? Kevin?
Yes, I'm here. Kevin
Gil?
Perkins here.
Gil?
Gil here.
Teresa?
Teresa here.
And Arlene Diaz, the chair. I do have one question, Teresa, about how you want us to sign expenses.
Well, so that's also on the agenda. It's number 5 on the agenda. Gina in the accounting department, other departments have sent an email stating that the department head can sign invoices. So that's what we would need to do.
Okay.
Just until everything goes back to how it was before. So I would ask for that for plans as well as warrants. Plans, you guys can vote it during a meeting, but Gil would have to sign the plan because there's nobody there to sign it.
Right.
And again, I would need that in writing for the accounting department.
I was actually up looking at the top thing, which was expense vouchers and mail.
I know, I should have taken that off and I didn't, so.
Okay, that's fine. We can go back to that. Because I have been in the office, so if plans needed to be signed, if they could be left for me, then I could go down the hall and sign them. That's not a problem.
Well, the board has to vote them anyways, so.
Right, it would be after a meeting, but so we can.
Okay, I didn't realize I had access to the building. I thought it was only the essential employees. That's the last email I got, so. Okay, whatever.
Okay. Number 1, Gordon Lincoln.
$1. Yes. So he came before the board before. He has 1 installer's license currently, and he wants to become an installer in Hanson. He said his time he installed was 2015. I spoke to him today. Gil looked for the folder. There was no folder. The last time I knew he installed was several years ago. It was past the time that he would need to re-up again. So I explained to him that we need 3 current licenses. He only has 1, and you guys denied it once. He asked me to bring it up again, so here it is.
Where does he have his current license? That's not in Kingston.
No, East Bridgewater.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how other board members feel, but if the regulation is 3, I think in some instances we may have done it for someone that has 2, but we've never done it for somebody who has 1.
Yes, that's correct. You've done it for people that have 2. They still have to sit for the test. You've never done it for 1 or less.
Okay.
If I could just comment on that, Kevin.
Go ahead.
I don't think it really makes a difference if someone's qualified to install a system and they can pass a test and they're able to, install it per the plan. I don't think it really makes a difference whether they have 1 install license in another town or they have 15 in another town. I don't think that really makes or breaks anything. With install licenses, it's from town to town. You need one in every town. It's not like a nursing license or an electrical license or a builder's license where it's a state license. Every town you go in, you have to do it. So what happens is a lot of these installers, they typically work in 1 or 2 towns. So they do most of the work in those towns. So once you go and you might get a job outside the town, in this particular situation, I think if this gentleman is qualified, he was at one point, post Title V requirements to install systems in Hanson, that I think that the guy should get a fair shot at taking the test, and if he passes it, then he should be able to get an install license, especially where he had one before. I feel that qualifies him enough to be able to at least take the test to do it. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, but I just think we're really just kind of tying someone's hands with it, and it's just a matter of money. That if this guy that's interested in doing this, he basically can just go to 2 other towns and he has to throw a bunch of money at this just to come back at us to get a license. So it's really just a matter of money. We're not even talking about qualifications.
Teresa, do you remember when the last time he was had a license in Hanson?
I don't. It was, I was there, so it was within the past 7 years. So it must have, I would say it's probably about 6 years ago. But that's a guess on my side. When I talked to him today, he gave me the address of another property he thought, and he said it was 2015. We don't even have a file. So, but I would say with probably 6 years.
Let me ask you this question. If say someone was just starting out business and they formed a new company, they have no licenses in any other towns. How are they supposed to accomplish getting a license in the town of Hanson to install a system? And they're fully capable. They've been working, someone that maybe has been working for an installer for years and years and years, and then they go out on their own. How are they supposed to get that initial license?
Yeah, so that has happened. I know every town has different regulations, and I know you can shop around and go to different towns and say, I need an installer's license, and they'll give you one. And like you said, you do just have to pay for it.
Well, that's kind of my point. I
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right, I totally get what you're saying, but I'm just saying what the regulation says, and it's been around longer than I've been around, that you have to have 3 or more licenses.
I think that if someone's qualified, it really shouldn't matter what they have for licenses in another town.
So you guys can vote it, and
I think that's something. Yeah.
Members.
Yeah, I think that's something we should probably revisit in the future to look at that regulation, because
Look at the regulations, because you have to wonder what was happening when they put that regulation in place.
I have
happening at that time.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we're not. To me, it's not. If this guy goes and throws $1,000 at this to get licenses in other towns, he's fine. He can come and take the testing. So nothing's changed as far as his qualification goes. He just went and threw a bunch of money at this. And to me, that just seems like a waste. It seems a little over the top.
How much is it for a license in Hanson?
175. $175 for the year, and it runs calendar year.
I think that what it comes down to, if this guy was qualified at one point in time, he held an installer license in Hanson. It was post Title V. Nothing really has changed major in the requirements. If my opinion, that qualifies him to at least sit and take the test to go for another installer license. And if he passes it, he can have one and pay the fee. That's my stance on it. I think he was qualified before, and none of the regulations have really changed other than a few small minor details. But I think if he was qualified before, he should be qualified again to at least take the test. I don't think we should just renew the license. I think it should just qualify him to take the test.
Right. Well, you guys have to vote on it, so whatever you want to do.
I'll make a motion to allow his previous qualifications to allow him to take the test with only an install license in one other town.
All right, I will second the motion, and I want to open up the discussion. I think that I would really prefer that we look at the regulation before we vote against our own regulation.
So the only thing it says on the regulation, I don't know, it might not even be considered a regulation, is the old application before we went online. At the bottom of the application, it said the criteria. You have to sit for a test. You have to have 3 licenses. And it's annually. You have to submit the 3 licenses. That's pretty much what it says. There's no language behind it or why it is that way.
So we don't
have
even know anything else in writing? No.
No. It's on the old application before we went online to online permitting, which was about 7 years ago.
Okay. It was done that way, and we don't know when that application was modified last.
Oh, no, I have no idea. That's how it was when I started.
This is Tom Constantine. May I say something?
Yeah.
Hello?
Go ahead, Tom.
As I recall way back when, the reason why that was done that way is because if an installer had issues in other towns, it would it would waive or raise the red flag in Hanson that the installer had problems, whether they be financial or there was problems with installations or something like that. And I think that was the rationale behind it. So that's the only thing I can offer.
Okay, thank you. Then I think, would you, Kevin, want to amend your motion to say that we follow your motion, but at first check with Bridgewater where he is
East Bridgewater.
licensed? East Bridgewater where he is licensed, to make sure that there are no problems.
Yeah, we can amend the motion to contingent on discussion with the East Bridgewater Board of Health to make sure his license and installs, I guess, are in compliance. Make sure there's no issues.
I can call them tomorrow and make sure his license is in good standing. And if it is, you guys want to permit him to take the test?
So we'll
Yeah.
vote on that now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, and again, he's not going to be able to take the test until the town hall opens up again. So
Correct.
I don't know when that's going to be.
No. Okay. So we'll do a roll call for the vote. Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, and Arlene? Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, you want to move to the second thing, Arlene?
Yes, reusable bag design.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You asked for that to be put on at the last meeting.
I did, and there's nothing we can do about that right now. So
Okay.
we'll have to, because we're not going to be able to do anything, probably for 2 months anyway.
Yeah,
I can look at designs and then present them at next month's meeting, email them around to people. Hopefully at that time we'll be looking at the plastic bag ban. If it's really going to start July 1st, is it going to be moved back because of what's going on in the state? So that can just be put on next month's agenda.
Okay. So I'll table it until next month, May.
Table it, yeah.
Okay.
The budget. And when you sent the budget out, did you send copies to everybody?
No, you asked me to send it to you. You didn't ask me to send copies to other people.
Oh, okay, so I just wanted to take a look at where we are in terms of the budget. At one point, I know Teresa said we were over.
But no. So
transfer station.
Right, but when you asked me to send you the budget, I sent you the budget for fiscal year 21, which starts July 1st.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not the current budget. I would have to talk to Todd on how to print that out.
Okay. Then I guess we'll have to table that till next month, because I wanted to see sort of where we are in terms of operational costs at the transfer station, because I know the costs have gone up, and I want to know where we are in terms of what we have in that line item right now and what we've spent. So we can ask Todd for that.
Okay, and again, Todd's not in right now, but I'll see if Gina's available.
Okay.
So you want fiscal year 20 transfer station expenditures?
Right.
Okay. All right, number 4, DPH COVID-19 update.
Gil was on a call today. So do you have any updates to share, Gil?
Okay. On the call today, discussion was basically pretty much the same as it always happens. They go over all the testing and everything. A lot of that's for the city stuff. They've got a new guidance coming out for stores, grocery stores, guidance coming out tonight or tomorrow, suggesting to them more online deliveries and pickups and items like that, and alternative hours for customers over 60. And if we find it, if any store is in violation and not in compliance, they say make sure we work with the stores. Don't give them a hard time and talk about closing or anything. Kevin and I toured Shaw's today a little bit, and they seem to be ahead of everybody. They they do the one-way aisles and posting everything. In fact, it looked very good there. I was surprised, but also self-serve coffee like Cumberland Farms. I guess to the way they were talking today, that there's an issue with all the Cumberland Farms, their self-serve coffee and their creams and stuff like that. We should be getting guidance on that also tonight or tomorrow morning.
So they're changing. I'm sorry, they're changing their idea on self-serve stuff? Because I know they had said they would continue to allow it. Or they're changing it?
They're possibly changing that. We'll find out tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And testing, 4,000 to 5,000 people being tested today. And they warned everybody about the sales of home testing kits. Unless they're approved by the FDA, they're no good as far as they're concerned. They have to be approved by the FDA and EUA. So we have that also, today's call. And also the false positives and presumed and all that. They're still working on that as far as false positives and then a positive after a false positive. So the epidemiology is working on that. They're expecting the ramp up. The ramp is going to be between April 10th to April 20th. They're expecting up to 173,000 cases, according to the model.
Is that new cases?
Yes, according to the model.
New. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I have to mute my phone. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, 173,000 new cases, according to the model that the experts have projected. And that brings us, pretty much to the end of it. Most of the conversations in these calls are towns with rooming houses, nursing homes, homelessness, and that type of thing, where we don't have that. We're not in the category as most of these towns that are on these phone calls are in. Most of the calls are from cities and larger towns. Hanson, we're less than 10,000, so a lot of these calls or questions are mostly by cities and whatnot. So I think we're in pretty good shape. So that pretty much does cover that phone call for now.
Tom Constantine has a question for Mr. Amato.
Yes, Mr. Constantine, go ahead.
Mr. Amato, currently the Massachusetts Department of Public Health is requiring local boards of health to do tracking and tracing of people that have been exposed to the COVID-19 virus, those that have tested positive to it. Are you currently engaged in that? Have you started tracking and tracing the contacts of the people that now have tested positive in Hanson?
No, we don't do that. Like in the past, Norwell VNA does that. They do the testing, they do the tracking, they do the follow-ups, and then they just send us a report. I'm sure you're probably familiar with the report they send us. It's just a document that says, positive or follow-up, no follow-up, and that type of stuff. But Norwell VNA follows everything. They do the tracking, the follow-up, and also the investigation as far as, family members.
Well, that's what I mean. Is family members the secondary tier and the tertiary third tier? This is something that's supposed to be generated ASAP from whoever's doing it. Right. I realize that some point in time, after sometime in the 1st of May or mid-May, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health is supposedly going to take that burden off boards of health. But currently, local boards of health are required to do that. And if the Norwell VNA is doing that, have you heard from them?
Yes, doing the governor's order there, all COVID virus determinations sent to the chief of police, who actually has the access to that. We don't have access to that. All we have is the report.
You misunderstand the question. the people that are COVID positive in the town of Hanson, they're the people that they have immediate contact with, and secondary contact and third layer contact are supposed to be identified. And
Yes,
has Norwell VNA done that?
Yes, they do. They do
They've reported back to you with the names, the identities of people that these people have had contact with.
Absolutely
They're
not.
not supposed to contact us with names and identities of people. They track the information, and the information goes into Maven. That does not come to the local Board of Health. They're setting up that new system to do all the tracing and tracking and being entered into Maven. So they're not going to call us every day. Go ahead.
The local boards of health are charged with the responsibility. It would seem reasonable and rational for whoever's doing that to report back to the Hanson Board of Health, because how are you going to contact or notify the local emergency responders with the identities or the addresses of these people?
First of all,
police
Mr. Constantine
chief handles that.
Yeah, let me explain it, Teresa.
Yep.
The information goes to the chief of police, which is the address, not the identity of anybody. DPH does not allow for anyone's identity or identifying information to be
that's
released.
Been changed apparently within the past week.
Well, we haven't gotten notification of that from DPH. I will look it up, but so the information goes to the chief. The chief is then responsible to let emergency responders know. No LVNA does all the tracking, all the tracing. They will be sending us monthly reports, but they're not going to report to us on a daily basis.
What good is it going to do if they do it on a monthly basis? This is a day by day thing.
I'm not saying that they're tracing and tracking on a monthly basis. The report will come back to me. I don't need to know on a day-to-day basis who they're tracing and who they're tracking. I need to leave them alone so they can do their job. And that information goes into Maven. And that eventually, when we get the Maven report, that information will be there. It will not have identifying information. It will tell us the disease, and it will tell us whether or not it needed follow-up or if it's been completed. So at no point is the local Board of Health going to get the name and address of anyone who's a COVID positive patient. That information is confidential. It is not disclosed. So no LVNA has been the one working with us for numerous years now, doing all of that tracking for us with any communicable disease. And they're going to continue to do that.
When is their contract up?
Their contract is up in July.
After July, and no one's been identified after that to resume it.
We're not the only town in that. There's 2 or 3 towns that they work with that they're not going to be offering the service to. So we're all in the same boat right now, busy taking care of stuff, and we will be looking for someone else to do it. But right now, they're taking care of that for us. So there will not be reports to the Board of Health on a daily or weekly basis saying, this is the patient, this is where they live. That information will not be disclosed. We will only disclose through the Board of Health the number of people in the county, which is the way DPH wants us to present that information. Us putting the number of people that are positive in town makes people, I think this is a small amount of people. I could say that there are 20 people that are tested positive. That doesn't include the 100 people that may have come in contact with, or people who have been sick. Their doctors told them to stay home. They were never tested, but they had COVID. They self-isolated. We're not going to know how many people that is. There's a lot of information that we're not going to be able to have available, so I don't want people to falsely feel comfortable, well, there's not a lot of people in Hanson with COVID. I tell people, treat everybody that you meet that you don't know like they have it. And that's the only way to stop the spread. So we won't know how many people are, but everybody should take the precautions that are being recommended. Social distancing. Some people want to wear a mask, some people don't. But the number of people and where they live is not information that's going to be released by the Board of Health. or to the Board of Health? Because of
It's
EPA
not,
guidelines.
well, it's not going to, because it's classified under HIPAA information. The Board of Health
But if
isn't going to release
you
it
look,
to anybody, but the Board of Health should be aware of what's going on in their community. That's why we have a Board of Health.
we are, and if you look at HIPAA, you need to look at the exceptions. There are exceptions to HIPAA, so you need to look at what those are.
Yeah,
So,
the governor signed an executive order regarding new exceptions to HIPAA. I don't know, a month ago.
right, new exceptions, but there are exceptions that are there that have been in place for a long time. So you need to look those up and see what they are and what they cover.
Yeah, I already have.
We're not going to be releasing that information. Okay, well, then you should know what
you
they are.
wouldn't release the information anyway. It's privileged information for the town, for the Hanson Board of Health only. No one else.
Okay.
Actually, it's between the members of the board and the health agent. That's it.
That information is being taken care of. The process is being taken care of by the NOEL VNA. They are doing all of our tracing and all of our tracking. Okay. Any other updates, Gil?
That is it as far as the COVID-19.
Okay. And I was going to ask something else. So we haven't had any more complaints about people not social distancing at local restaurants?
Not since last week. I think we've done pretty good. I mean, everybody's, all the businesses, restaurants and convenience stores, very much in compliance with Hanson. The citizens of Hanson have done a damn good job as far as I'm concerned of social distancing. All the stores are very cooperative. No one's pushed back or anything. Been out there, checking places and making sure they get the tape and the distances down. And I think everybody has done very well. I think Hanson's on top of it as far as social distancing, mask, and we'll see what comes out tonight or tomorrow morning as far as different regulations they want to put on stores. We'll go from there. I go out and enforce every order the governor puts out that comes through a DPH, and I'm out there checking all the time just to make sure. We are the enforcement arm of the DPH, and I think the town's done the citizens of Hanson have done a good job. There's been no major issues.
No, I've been out and around too, and I agree with you, Gil, and I think that's probably the most important thing that needs to happen right now.
Have most restaurants marked spaces, where people are out waiting for their pickup?
Yes, one guy puts cones out when his line gets long, and been to most places that Shaw's is really best. CVS, Dollar Store. Those are our big places. Shaw, CVS, Dollar Store, the Liquor Mart, the restaurants. I've been probably just this week alone 5 or 6 restaurants. Just checking, making sure everybody seems to be in compliance. Well, I'd have signs, stand here, or don't go any further until your number's called or your name's called. So.
Okay. So shall we move on to vote to allow the health agent to sign plans and warrants?
Yes.
So is that just, I'm assuming, for basically saying we can't be in the.
Be correct. Yep.
Okay.
Things that you would normally sign at a meeting, you don't have that ability. So this way it would cover it just until everything returns to normal. Again, I would need.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say I'll make a motion to allow a health agent to sign off on plans and warrants until further notice, until the town hall resumes normal operating hours and normal business.
I'll second
Are you
that.
going to add the variances on that, Teresa? What do you end up with that?
Yes, the variances, because you already signed the ones that don't have variances. Yes. The board would vote on it, and then you would sign them.
Yeah.
Correct.
You have to include variances on that too, Kevin.
But the board would vote on the phone, and then he would sign it. Is what Teresa? Is
Right.
that what
Correct.
you just said? Right.
Right,
Yeah,
we're
We
still,
would have a meeting.
we're still voting on the variances. It would just be, you would be signing it instead of Arlene for plans that
Right.
would require variances.
Right. Okay. All right. So we're going to call for the vote. Kevin,
Yes.
Arlene, yes.
Okay, so if you guys could both just send an email to me stating that Gil can sign warrants on your behalf until further notice, and then I could forward those to Gina, so that will be all set.
Okay. I had problems with the town email today. I couldn't get in it at all. So I don't know if there was a problem. So I will try again later.
Really? Huh.
It kept saying there was an error. I couldn't connect on my phone. I couldn't connect on my computer.
I did all my emails today. I didn't have any issues. Gil, did you have any issues?
No, but Arlene seems to have issues there. Maybe Ryan's on, well, I don't know if it's the right time to bring this up.
This is the first time I've had an issue.
We were down for about a half hour today.
Oh, maybe
That
that's what
probably-
Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. It's like I've never had issues. And Teresa, I
Okay.
was looking for the plans that you had sent me because I remember looking at them thinking they're small. I'll have to print them out. And I kept looking in my home email and I couldn't find them. So I assumed they were in my town email, but I couldn't access it. But I had the review stuff, so that's fine. That was the only reason I knew it
yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how those would print out if you tried to print them, because I scanned the plans on that big scanner thing that we have.
Right. Well, I figured that with the magnifying glass, I should have been able to figure stuff out. But then I couldn't find them to print them.
Oh.
So that's fine.
Okay, so just
Kevin,
if you could both send an email to my attention regarding the warrants that Gil can sign them on your behalf till further notice.
Yep, I'm working on that right now.
Awesome, thank you.
So, Kevin, did you get a chance to look at the plans or the review notes?
I did. Yep. I'm
Okay.
good with both of them. I looked them both over.
Okay. So
Do you want to?
We should still, yeah.
Do you want? We'll look at 307. I have it up on my computer right now, actually.
Yeah. Yep. I'm assuming
Yes.
all of the two notes in the bottom were areas that were fixed.
Correct.
Because I couldn't go back and look at them. Okay, so Kevin, are you satisfied with the plan?
Yeah, it was just it was really just a couple details on the plan. It was just some verbiage and then a detail from, I think it was the forced main, 2-inch forced main from the pump chamber. Just the line did not connect all the way to the D box on the drawing, which obviously the pipe will have to connect there. It was just a minor detail on the plan. Everything else looked good to me. So I'll make a motion to approve the plan as submitted with corrections following the review.
And that's for 307 Woodbine Avenue.
Correct, for 307 Woodbine Avenue. Sorry.
Okay, I'll second that. All right, all in favor? Kevin?
Aye. Yes.
And Arlene? Yes. Okay, we'll move on to 124 Milford Street. And that looks like
That one I don't
the
think we had any comments.
No, it didn't. It's a local one, and it said no further comment. He really checked off everything, and there were no further comments. So, Kevin, do you have any questions on that one?
No, that was just a groundwater reduction, I believe. I'm just pulling that up right now.
It is. Yep.
Yeah, they were just looking for I think they had 2 minutes an inch. They were just looking for a groundwater reduction. No, I have no issues with that. Everything else is in compliance. Yep. I'll make a motion to approve the plan for 124 Milford Street as shown, given the variance for a groundwater reduction from, 5 feet to 4 feet.
4.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'll second that. Roll call, Kevin.
Yes.
And Arlene's yes? Yes. So did we have anything else? Any old business? Oh, agents report.
Okay, I've pretty much given a lot of it already here. Let me just get, we have approximately 6 septic systems going on at the present time. We have, let's see, it appears that we're having increased use at the transfer station. The lines are building up and whatnot there. And I noticed, I believe I've told everybody this before, a lot of your curbside haulers are not taking anything that's outside the barrels. They've notices people, it has to be in the barrel, otherwise they're not gonna take it. I've cruised around town when doing my other compliance checks and whatnot. They are pretty much adhering to it. People, they pick up their bags, they bring them back and whatever, but it looks pretty good. We're not seeing a lot of trash, which I expected to see a lot of trash once this took place, but that's not happening. We got, like I say, most of the compliance I've been doing. Transfer stations, they're doing pretty good. The wind kind of took it up a little bit there. A lot of trash. Got it pretty much cleaned up, so that's working all right there. And they worked on a plan as far as, people able to work if someone got sick. The 2 part-timers filling in, and got it pretty much worked out as far as filling in. We've got, well, that's about it, because I'm out there, the compliance of all the governor's orders. But as you're aware, the Board of Health, through its health agent, has to enforce the compliance from the governor to the Department of Public Health to the local Board of Health. And that's about it.
Gil, did you want to just touch base on Shaw's today and how we came up with that solution there to get them on a pump? Because obviously we can't close Shaw's down with what we got going on, that we got to keep them operational.
Okay. Yesterday afternoon, noticed an issue over Shaw's septic system, the county roadside. So I kind of walked the site yesterday afternoon, looking it over, and seems to have a major failure there. This morning I called the engineer from New Hampshire that does the engineering for Shaw's. And I called him, he didn't answer, I got a voicemail. So I called the current contractor that does the service there, and he got a hold of me, and we immediately, in fact, he was going to go there today to look at it again himself. We pumped probably 20,000 gallons of liquid out of there. The pumps are shut off so the field can dry out, so they can establish what's going on with it. They're probably going to put some puddles at the field and also line the field because it's got a kind of a stenchy odor, and they're going to find out what's actually happening. I believe they're going to jet it. They're going to jet some of the pipes to see if the pipes got plugged or something taking place they're not aware of. But I put the engineer on notice and Shaw's that something has to be done immediately. They have to abate the nuisance. Abating the nuisance, it requires pumping. If they have to have a pump truck there constantly, they have to do it because the odor and stench, the people, they're walking around, the weather's getting warmer, so it has to be taken care of right away.
Right, and at this time, obviously, we're not gonna, we can't be shutting down Shaw's, so it's important that, we resolve that. We got to keep the one grocery store that we actually have in town open.
All right, Gil, I have a question. Is that the same area where I went and they had breakout?
No, it's a different area. This one's in the right-hand corner and towards the middle. The area that broke out before is towards the end. So something else changed. Something else happened. Because that system works. It's got 4 areas it pumps to. Something took place with another area plugged up. It's a massive system, and for some reason, somehow it's getting plugged up. I'm assuming it's grease. We know that, which someone brought it to our attention today, they're probably dumping milk, which I didn't think stores did that. I thought the milk producers, the milk delivery people took milk back, but that's probably a case it doesn't happen that way. They're probably dumping milk. So we're looking into everything. Like the engineers promised they will keep the pumping going and they'll monitor it. And of course, I told them I'll be looking at it too myself. So the system is shut off. They're going to let it dry out. They're going to jet some areas up there and pump too. I think the field they're going to do tomorrow, Kevin. That wasn't done today, correct? He said. Do you hear me, Kevin?
Yeah, I can hear you. What was that? Can you say that one more time?
that they're gonna work in the field tomorrow to do some jetting and pumping?
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were gonna finish vacuuming up top where the field is off County Road, and then they were going to they shut the pumps off today, and after that got cleaned up, they were gonna I think they were gonna try to put the lime down sooner
Yeah.
rather than later, just so there's no potential smell.
I think my main thing is, in doing the pumping and checking that, grease trap, whatnot, as long as it doesn't, it's not gonna come back to the store because of the check valves and the pump chambers and whatnot. So there's no chance of it coming back.
Coming from that, but then they're just gonna be on a pumping schedule.
Yeah, the pumping, getting it pumped constantly, so, and that's another, issue I'll be monitoring, so.
Jill, this has been probably a year now that we've had a problem with that. It's probably going on a year.
Yeah,
We started getting complaints.
they did correct it the last time, but I think what's happening, I believe, my personal opinion is too much grease is getting up, or something causing it to plug is getting up into the field itself, where there's lousy maintenance on the grease trap itself, which, look at Plymouth. They experienced it themselves down there when all the grease traps in Plymouth blew up their sewer system. So, and Fedursky, who's doing the work there, doesn't handle the grease trap part of it. So I've told the engineer today that I would strongly suggest that they have this contractor research everything, the grease trap and the piping and how the piping is done, because, there's a serious problem now. So, and like I told him, I keep repeating myself that, it's a nuisance. They have to abate the nuisance. By abating the nuisance, they have to pump. So that's about it on that. So.
And they had corrected the other issues of the broken pipes that were there.
The broken pipe, that was corrected months ago. That ended up being the reason why I tested for fecal. It was because it was a drain pipe. It was an under drain for the Gabion wall that's there, and it just picked up, sewage along the line there, just because that whole area is nothing but sewage. So that pipe that was leaking all the time was an under drain for the Gabion wall.
Because it took me forever to find where the odor was coming from. Teresa kept getting complaints for quite a while. I finally figured out where it was coming from. So this has been ongoing. So I hope that they work pretty quickly to get this fixed.
Like I said, I've spoken to the engineer, spoken to the contractors, and hopefully we're going to get an email chain going today, as long as he's going to figure out a scope of work, what they're doing and what they're going to do, and we'll communicate with we'll communicate with Northside, the property management company, who will communicate with Shaw's. Shaw's does not own that plaza.
Right, I know. Yep. You should have to contact the woman. I think her last name's Jope at Northside.
Jope, yes.
Yep. Okay.
All the official parties have been notified.
Okay. And all the other ongoing work, what stages are we at?
I've got, let's see here now. Well, like I say, I've got like 6 systems going right now. I got one on Phillip Street, High Street, a couple going on Winter Street, one on State Street, all in different phases.
And we're not doing any new ones.
As far as new systems?
Yeah, there's nobody out doing perks right now, right?
Yes, we're going to be doing perks. Colin's going to be doing perks. Everybody feels that, the way the governor said it the last time, anything to do with housing and whatnot, that does not fall under non-essential. So if you're doing perk tests, you're doing anything that's going to involve building housing or transferring housing, that is essential work.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's about it. Anybody else got any questions?
I have a question, Rich Edgel.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Edgel.
Okay, question is, where this couldn't be taped, can I get a copy of this audio?
Ryan, are you there? That would be a question for Ryan.
It is being recorded. Yeah, I can Teresa, I can give you a link to it, and it'll be available
Okay,
online.
perfect. And then Rich, I can send you the link.
All right, I appreciate it. That would be that's it. That's all I have to say.
It probably
So,
won't be
Rich,
available till tomorrow.
No, it's no right.
Okay,
There's sometime in the next couple of days is fine. You know.
yeah, Rich, can you send me an email and then I can just reply to the email with the link?
All right, and your email is?
tcocio@hanson-ma.gov.
Okay, got it. All right,
Okay? And then I'll just
Thank you.
respond to your email.
very good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, anything else? Did anybody have any other questions for Gil? Or should I say Kevin? Any more questions for Gil?
No, I don't have any questions. I've been in good communication with Gil. We've talked basically on a daily basis, if not every other day. But no, I don't have any questions for Gil.
Okay. Teresa, everything covered that you needed?
Pardon me?
Okay. Was everything covered that you needed?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes. Yep, I'm good.
Okay. So Kevin, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Okay, I will second that. Roll call. Kevin, are you in favor?
Yes.
And I am in favor.
4:51.
4:51, meeting's ended. Thank you.